I completely agree with that. There was one thing that struck me, though. The president, obviously very forceful, saying Sony made a mistake, really calling them out, saying that he wished that Sony had called him before they made this decision. But if he felt so strongly about it, couldn't he have reached out to them and had some impact on this decision-making process?
You know, it's always difficult. Look, you got to feel a little bit for Sony. They made a bunch of choices along the way. They're now feeling regretful about a lot of those. If they could go back, they probably wouldn't have greenlighted the movie in the first place. And private companies have a whole lot of obligations. They're making profits. They have obligations to their stakeholders. So I don't fault Sony for not talking to the president, but they have behaved in a kind of cowardly way.
Have reached out to them, though.
We don't want the president to be getting too involved with private companies telling them what to do and what not to do.
Yeah.
I think chastising is a good idea, but consultation, not too much.
After the fact, criticizing them, fine. Consulting with them in advance, over the line.
But I think that there is a misunderstanding of the full dynamics here. When we say Sony made a mistake, we are misunderstanding that it was a group called NATO, the National American Theater Owners, who said, we are not showing this picture. All 5 of the major theater chains said, we're not going to show this picture. They made the decision for Sony, right? So Sony suddenly has no distributor. So then when they say, we're going to pull it, well, it's already been pulled for them. So perhaps NATO made a mistake. But what you said about Sony, if they made a mistake, it was earlier in greenlighting this picture. When we talk about the First Amendment in this country, that doesn't mean anybody can say anything anytime. You cannot yell fire in a crowded theater. There are limits to that. Do you think that there is a similar sort of principle invoked, the fire in a crowded theater principle, when we make a film where we send Americans to a foreign country to kill with the intention, the stated intention of killing that country's leader, and then that actually happens in that film?
Seth Rogen movies can be an incitement, but I'm not sure they're the kind of incitement that constitutes a threat like fire in a crowded theater. They're not they're an incitement to violence against Seth Rogen, not about.
I mean, come on. When the South Park guys made Team America, which makes Kim Jong-un look like an idiot, right?
I hate you, Hans Blix.
Yes, I like you. Nothing came out of North Korea. In this one, he dies. I mean, is that appropriate for one country
the son is more
making a
thin-skinned
film?
than the father, actually. We're learning about this kind of thing.
Yeah.